We're back feeding the ducks, everybody. Feeding the ducks. Thanks to StreamYard's amazing musical library, of which I don't like any of it except for that. But it is what it is. But here we are. We're back. We're doing this again, guys. As you can see, it's episode 2 of again, whatever this is.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever it's meant to be, whatever it will become. It is here. It is happening. It's us. Kaboom.
We're here.
Oh my gosh. So
I'm just like, who is watching this?
Well, it's either
apparently it's 1,000 people.
Well, let's talk about
who
that.
Are you even?
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. So it's been a week.
Yeah.
And just under our launch time for tonight.
Yes.
We have officially hit 1,000 views, whatever that means, 1,000 views all across Facebook, 900 plus on my feed, which is where this is mostly live, 100 plus on the Big Dog Inc. feed, where it's also live there, and then 5 over on YouTube. So somehow we managed to have, again, whatever 1,000 views means. I don't necessarily think that that's 1,000 people watched it. I have a sense that, well, maybe it is.
No,
I mean, I don't know what a view is, right? It's either that or like 100 people watched it, 10 times each, like, which would be an interesting choice.
If somebody watched it only for like 2 minutes, does that count as a view?
I think so. I think that there is sort of you have to watch it for so long and then it counts as a view, whether they watch the whole thing or not.
Okay.
But even if we got them to actually, I guess the point is that if we got them to at least count as a view,
we got them to engage.
Yeah. Even if it's for the 2 minutes of whatever, the beginning is. So
also, can we talk about how you put Lindsay's comment up for a half a second and I didn't even get to read it? Oh, okay. Thanks. Hi.
Thanks. Hi. Bye.
Dork.
we can do it.
Thanks.
Now she's special because she's in flashing lights.
No, now somebody's gonna have a seizure.
Okay, we'll stop then. So last week we started this little experiment with the idea that if we were to get 5 unique people to actually comment in the course of the thing, we would do episode 2. We got 100 comments last time.
Crazy.
Which is wild.
We've already got 1.
So we have 1 now. So this week we need 6 unique viewers to say something along the ways, and we'll come back and do episode 3. It's as simple as that.
I don't know if you want that, but we'll do it.
They get to choose.
We'll do it if
But now we don't
even know what we're doing right now. So
no, we're killing time. Is what we're called. This is called killing time. Yeah. It's been a week. It's been trying to think of what even my week was. My weeks are so scattered right now and chaotic because I'm still dealing with stuff with my mom. But I don't know where I've been. I don't know what I've been doing. What have you been doing? I know you're at the museum for a good portion of that, but anything else?
It was pretty much all museum except for an Oz historian and Ozcom. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a historian, but thanks. I appreciate it.
I would call myself an Oz writer.
I know a few things. So my nephew, my oldest nephew, graduated college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which I'm struggling with a little bit because it makes me feel super old.
Oh, I understand that.
But I basically had less than a 24-hour turnaround.
Yeah.
So I decided I don't want to do all the driving in one day.
Sure.
So Friday night at like 6:30, I left to drive home to Ohio. So that's like 5 hours. Now, doing it this way meant extra driving, but it was still a little bit better than what it would have been. So
how's it extra? It's still the same miles.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Because he graduated in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So this way, I had to drive to Ohio, to drive to Pennsylvania, to drive back to Ohio and pick up the dog.
Yeah.
And then drive to New York.
Okay, understood.
So it was a whirlwind, like 20 hours.
Oh,
so,
my God. That's rough.
But I was able to be there.
Good.
Which was super fun. And one of the reasons that I had to be there, and I don't know how people will be able to see this, but one of the reasons that I had to be there and I started getting all emotional is, oh, you won't be able to see it.
It's going to be a little weird. We got a little bit of it. There you go. Right there. Here, let me.
That is him at my graduation.
Hold on a second. I know I can do this.
Bing. I should sleep. Yeah. So that's him at my graduation. And I was like, I have to be there. I have to be there regardless, even if it's me just being there for like 30 minutes.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I've done the big drives. You and I have done the big drives.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Usually we have a little bit more time, but those are always fun times.
Yeah. Yeah.
If people could be a fly on the wall of our conversations while we're driving.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's a different world. That's a different world that we live in when we're on the road. The road world is different from the real world.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder what kind of Ozstravaganza conversations there will be. I don't
know. I saw that Gita got announced as coming back.
Grand Marshal.
I didn't get to talk to her much last time, so that'll be cool to. I'm going to kind of make a point to go talk to her this time because we talked right at the end. She actually came and talked to me, and I was like, "Why are you talking to me? I don't know what do I do?" But she was very cool for those handful of minutes, and I feel bad that I never really kind of continued that because she kind of was like, "Here, just like send me an email sometime," and I was like, "Of course," and then like I didn't, so I totally dropped the ball, and I feel bad. So I'm gonna go make sure I talk to her a little bit, and hopefully she doesn't hate me now and denounce all my Oz work.
I was talking to her for a little bit at one of the dinners, and I said, we need to sit down and have a conversation about. For anybody who doesn't know, she is a Jungian psychologist, and she specializes in sand play, and has kind of realized in her work that a lot of people really gravitate toward the Oz characters. And so I was talking to her, and I'm like, we need to have a conversation about some, the archetypes and everything. And she was like, oh, that will be a really long conversation, so we can't do that tonight. But I actually started school as a psychology, vocal music double major. So that's stuff that is very interesting to me. But if you're at Ozstravaganza, we will have some of her books. So grab one of those, have her autograph it. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was very cool.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of you in the college and school realm of things. I squeaked my way out of high school, and never looked back. I was just like, get me out of here. I did end up in college for a total of one semester, taking business classes.
Okay.
And
were you so bored?
You don't even know.
Okay.
But it's a cool story. But it is a cool story. Take a guess at what my second class was. I took two classes, business and
pleasure.
I want to say yes. It's not even wrong. But it was a certain type of pleasure. It was basically a physical education class. I took volleyball as a class. Yes, it was a physical education class. Yeah, because all my friends were in it. They were all like taking volleyball. I'm like, what are you guys doing? We weren't even playing on sand. We were playing volleyball on concrete.
I didn't know you could do that as an actual course.
Listen, I all I know is they let me do it. And I did it. And because we used to play volleyball all the time. I used to live in California, so we would play all the time. We played on sand. We played on sand. Playing on concrete, asphalt even is a whole different world of volleyball.
I would imagine.
But my business class I took because I wanted to open a comic shop. That was my thought process.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll take volleyball with you guys and I'll go do like a business class. And this was probably a good year and a half out of high school graduation. So I was not in the let's go to school, let's do homework. Like that was washed out of my DNA. And so I couldn't focus on the class from a class standpoint. I had a great teacher. And he would talk to me and a friend of mine, like after class, because he'd be like, you're not doing a whole lot. And I'm like, I know, and I'm sorry. And he's like, no, I get it. You are not the kind of person who does it that way. Mm-hmm. He told me, you're going to find a different way. You're going to find your way and it's going to work for you. Like
you will thrive. You just need to find what works for you.
Exactly. So while I didn't fail the class, I was pulling C's or whatever, because I couldn't do the tests. I couldn't do the homework. I couldn't wrap my head around it. But he was super cool. And he was very, maybe I wouldn't say like a mentor, but if I had hung around long enough, probably he would have been. Aww. He was sort of that first teacher that ever was like, I think you got this, but you're going to have to figure out your own way. Like most of the teachers I had were like, why aren't you reading the material and succeeding at these tests? And like, no, that's not how I do things. So business and volleyball. And again, squeaking out of high school with like a D in English, and somehow I'm now a professional writer. That sounds weird.
That is crazy.
Writer, but I guess that's what I am technically. I'm many things, I suppose, but it all starts at the ground level as I'm a professional writer with a D in English. Yeah.
That happens.
Does it?
I think it does, because I've talked to like so many artists in the comic book industry who, their teachers were like, you will never be anything. Or people who like didn't draw the right way,
Yeah, sure.
For example, and I'm just going to shout out Scoot. He like colors like like this.
Yeah.
And people are always going to be like, that's not how you hold a pencil or a crayon or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's gone on to have this crazy career. So yeah, I feel like teachers can go one way or the other. They can be really awesome and encouraging and nurturing, and just be like, take what you have and expand upon it, or they can shut all of that creativity down. So whether you're a teacher or not, be an encourager. That's my lesson for the day.
My senior year, we got to pick our classes somehow. I don't remember why we were allowed to pick our classes, but we were. But you have to take so many, whatever. But then there were like versions of it. So like for English class, there was an English class that was, how do I describe this? It was, so we studied the films that were made from books.
Oh, that would be a cool class.
So like Moby Dick, for example, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought immediately. I was like, oh, I'm getting to watch movies for school. Yeah. Like, put me in, coach. I'm good to go.
But did you also have to read the book?
We had to read the book. It was highly recommended that you read the book too.
Yeah.
Which of course I never did. But she was a rough teacher, but I got more out of that from the movie side of it. I was like almost in film class, because there was some sort of like, well, like here's the book, and then like here's how it was translated into the film, and you can see the differences and the similarities and how they did it. So it was almost like I was getting like a film class, like script to film. So that was sort of my first introduction to the idea of like, how does a movie get made and work, and all that kind of stuff. So and then I just became a gigantic movie lover like my entire life. So and now I sit around and I think about like, how do I make a movie now? Like I just want to make a movie. Like I feel like it's almost too easy now. Now, granted, it would not be good. It would not be good. But I think that
it would be great. We need a Legend of Oz movie.
Yeah, we only need $10 million.
I need to hear from everybody. Everyone, like, make a petition, or we could start a Kickstarter.
I mean, we would need like $5 million just to make a monkey. Like, make one monkey. Like, it would just be ridiculous. But
whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, whatever. But it's been in my mind. Like, how do we make a movie? I've been studying this. I've been studying this. Yeah, I'm studying. Yeah, no. I'm watching documentaries and stuff on people, how they make these things, like low budget movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching low budget movies. Like, okay, these guys made a really piece of crap movie, but clearly they're very proud of it. They probably know it's a piece of crap, but at the bottom line, they made a movie. And it's on Amazon or it's on Tubi.
There's a ton that you can do on a low budget, and it still looks good. And at this point, you can kind of just do it on your phone.
Yes.
I mean, the cameras on most of those are really, really good.
Well, and they have attachments now to make to make it a little more cinematic with your iPhone. But yeah, no, there's definitely people that are filming stuff with phones and just making movies, and that was really interesting to me, because it was almost like it used to be back in the day. Hey, let's just make a comic book, right? Let's get together. I'll write it. You draw it. Let's make a comic book. Yeah. But now it's so easy. The barrier to entry is so low that it's like, hey, let's make a movie. We can get a camera. We can use our phone. We can, do whatever we want. So the barrier to entry has come crashing down to movies, and even how to post them and get them into all these streaming spaces. Like, the barrier to entry is almost nothing. It's your time, it's your effort, it's what do you want to put into it.
Yes.
Versus like, oh, we need $10 million to make a movie. No, you don't really, unless you're making like some highfalutin sci-fi thing. But I think it can be done. And
absolutely.
The one thing that's really interesting with the stuff that I do is I've had producers talk to me about the book Princesses versus Zombies that I do.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and two specifically. And I've always thought like this would be the easiest low budget movie that you could ever make.
Oh, it would be so fun.
Yeah. And I think that it has enough, the characters are so defined and work so well that even if it's sort of cheesy effects and whatever, like, I think if we had good actors, the characters would carry it in a way that, we could kind of skate by with, a lower budget as far as like effects and all that kind of stuff.
I claim Bella.
You just want to hang out with the dog. That's all.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that would be cool too, but what else would I fit? I guess I could do Mrs. White.
You could be Mrs. White, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't feel like a soccer mom yet.
That's fair. Well, she's a hockey mom.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Midwest hockey mom.
Which is cooler.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, yeah, probably is. Yeah. I was a soccer kid. I didn't know what I was doing. But my mom was like, just go play soccer with the kids. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're kick the ball and put it in the hoop thing, whatever, the net.
The net.
The net, not the hoop, the net. But what always confused me was like, I kind of understood sports had like positions, like you play a position, right? Like baseball, you play third base, you're on third base. So I was always, when they told me, okay, you play, I don't know what the positions are. You play guard, so you go over there. I thought I just stood there until the ball came to me.
Yeah.
And then I would kick it away and I'd be like, I'm playing my position. But everybody else was like just running around like crazy, and I'm like, why are y'all not playing positions? So I didn't understand. It took me until we got to like football where I understood that positions moved and did things on the field. So
sports ball.
Sports ball, yeah. I was very sports ball back in the day. Yeah, I was very sports ball until I learned football.
That's so funny.
Not even that I learned football, because I did, because we'll talk about how I got into that. But once I learned when you played football in real time, that you got to run into people, like and knock them down. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was sold. I was sold. I have to play this all the time.
And all the girls are like, ooh.
You understand. Right? You understand.
Yeah. I can read you.
You understand. Yeah. And so but again, it was one of these things where I was such a nerd, like legitimately a nerd. I was one of the OGs. I'm Star Wars. I've got toys. I'm transforming robots at school. I'm OG nerd. That when I actually got on the football team, not just playing it for like PE class, once I was on the team and I was like, we're hanging around after school watching film and stuff. Like, I got Thundercats is on. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So I was like, nope, this is not going to work for me.
Thundercats.
Yeah. So I ditched out. But what was weird is I got into football in the strangest way. I was in a private school for a while, mm-hmm. and the teacher, I don't know why he did this. I think it was just sort of like a class building thing, like everybody kind of gets involved in one thing, whatever. But he gave everybody $100 of fake money, and we would bet on football games every week, and we would see who could do the best.
That's kind of fun,
right? And I thought
as long as it's fake money.
It was just fake money, and then the whole thing was whoever had the most money at the end of the year would win a Coke. That was it. That was the whole thing.
I love that.
Yeah, and so I thought I'd be great at that, even though I didn't even know what football was. Yeah. And I wasn't good at it at all. But it made me start watching the games, and that's how I got into the football, watching the games. And
now you basically still do that with like your fantasy leagues and stuff.
Fantasy leagues and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing. I mean, he went deep too, because I was running out of money really fast, and I was like, how do I like make more money? He's like, well, you can like parlay one game to the other and there's odds, and I'm like, okay, let me do that. And I lost just more money, and whatever. And then I started getting really deep. I was like, can I like parlay like this half to this half of this game, $5 here and $5 here? He was like, do whatever you want. So it also really triggered my gambling love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which has come and gone over the years as far as my success rate. But I love. Oh my gosh, I love betting on the games. I love playing cards. I love throwing the dice. I can't live in Vegas, Allison.
Yeah, I mean,
can't do it.
I don't think I would want to.
Could not do it.
Even, I don't know. It's a lot. Is anyone talking to us right now?
Not so far. They're all listening. We got tons of people watching. Everybody's just listening to the nonsense. We have 3 unique comments so far. We still need 3 more before we're done to get to episode 3.
There are so many things that you have said in this short amount of time.
Okay, unpack.
That I'm like, oh my gosh, we definitely are the odd couple. Mm-hmm. Because we're just like, we're so close, but we're so vastly different. Hi, Michael. Yeah.
Well, I think we're like in the Venn diagram, right? It's like we have a pretty good center overlay.
Yeah.
But then our fringes are definitely fringy.
They're fringy. They're like a flapper. No, I was just thinking about like my 2 big fandoms are like Oz and Buffy, mm-hmm. and you're very Jaws, Godzilla, and like horror movies, and there's just
in fairness, I'm really all over the place. Like Jaws, but also like Devil Wears Prada. Like I'm everywhere with that stuff. What's up, Mr. Calderon? I dress up for I dress up for the right people, JD. I dress up for the right people.
So,
but yes, you're right. I do lean into the, Jaws, Godzilla realm far more than you, but we'll fix that. Well,
I mean, I saw my first Godzilla movie with you.
That's yes. Mm-hmm. That was a hell of an experience.
Which was so good too that I kind of after that didn't really want to watch anymore because I knew that I would just be disappointed.
This is the problem with the newbie Godzilla fans, or just like you enjoyed a movie, because if you go backwards from that movie, it's really rough because it's all dudes in rubber suits and it's a different experience.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that you wouldn't still have fun with it, but it is a completely different experience.
Well, I think even some of the newer ones, they just, I don't know. They didn't have, I need a really good storyline, I think. And some of the ones that I've kind of seen since then didn't really have that for me.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree with you.
And don't get me wrong. I love just a like shoot 'em up explosion movie. Give me an action film any day, but I don't know. I wanted to know like what's Godzilla's like character background? Why are you so upset? Why?
Well, that would be
cities.
That would be explained in the first movie that you never watched.
Well,
yeah.
Whatever.
But it's not really a good movie. So.
See, and that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay if you like fast forward through the human parts.
Okay.
It's because okay, monster is happening. Go watch it. But no, I mean, we're definitely going to have a moment, you and I, where we explore the Godzilla universe together, and we can talk about what's going on.
Weren't they supposed to make like a whole monster universe?
Oh, it's existing right now. That's the Kong crossover.
I mean, I know that there's like the Kong stuff, but really, and we saw Mothra, what, twice maybe?
Yeah, she's been in 2 movies now. Yeah.
But where's everybody? Like, where's all the rest of them? I expected there to be much more.
Yeah, well,
that would have been what?
Yeah,
5 years ago.
Some of that is in the TV show that came out.
Oh, I did not know there was a TV show.
Nobody did. It's not very good. So there are some weird monsters in there. There were some new monsters in the last movie, Tiamat and some other stuff. But no, you're right in that they haven't really been like, let's make a movie about all these other guys. And I think it's budgets. I mean, these things cost $200 million to make, so you can only make so many of them. But a lot of Godzilla fans are like that. They're like, why don't we have more of this guy and this guy and this guy? Because they made all these cool dudes, and like then they just kind of hang around in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer other than it costs $200 million to make one of these things every time they want to do it, and then they only pull in about 500 million. So it's not like they're gangbuster, profitability thing. I mean, they sell a lot of toys. That's some extra toy sales and stuff, but the movies themselves are, 500 or 600 million.
Have you seen that one Godzilla toy where he like breathes steam and everyone's using it as a humidifier? I love it.
Yeah. Well, there is a legitimate humidifier. They made an actual humidifier. Maybe
that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and then they made a toy that just spits out steam too.
People have been like, I'm going to put this by my plants. And which I think is hilarious.
The humidifier is amazing because he has a little blue light in his mouth too.
Yes.
So it goes out blue.
It's freaking brilliant.
Yeah. I've always wanted one of those things.
Where are all the Oz book toys? That's what I want to know.
Well, you got to have an Oz. Well, every time they do an Oz thing, there's toys.
I know, but Oz, I want all the older book characters.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to do something to like.
Give me a Frogman toy. That would make me really happy.
You kind of have to do something to engage the general audience for them to be like, oh yeah, Dorothy and the lion, and I mean, But if you go too fringe, I mean, honestly, if anyone were to do it, it would be Pops Funko, right?
Oh,
because they do anything. Yeah. So they could come out and be like, well, here's the keys. Here's Dorothy the lion. Yeah. Here's your keys. And then we're going to get weird. And then we're going to do Languideer with like 31 different variants for heads. And,
that would be so cool.
It'd be wild, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like Funko could go crazy with Oz.
Give us some Polychrome and Ozma and all the.
Yeah. Funko could go bananas with Oz. That would be minting some money right
Although I think Funko's going under right now.
They're not in great shape, but nobody is right now.
They've made some announcements.
Oh, have they made announcements? What's the announcement? I know they had a lot. I know they had a big debt thing they had to deal with like last year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just, a lot of people, after all the stuff that they were like posting on Threads, there was a ton of response saying, well, that's fine. We just won't buy anymore. Ooh, okay. I need to get rid of some of mine, to be honest, because
I've got a few.
My Oz collection just continues to expand.
Well, sure.
And I cannot have every single fandom collection because I'm turning into a hoarder. It's terrible. It's terrible. But I justify any of the clothing because I can wear it to work.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, it's like my work wardrobe.
Well, even if you're like going to con or whatever, it's fine at like a Comic-Con, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Mm-hmm. I remember a few years ago, I bought my first ever Godzilla shirt. I was at Godzilla Con in Chicago, and they had shirts. Of course, they had shirts. So that was the first one I ever bought. And I was like, I have never in my life, and I was in my 40s or whatever at the time. I was like, I have never in my life owned a Godzilla shirt. And now I do. I was so excited. You don't even know how excited I was. And then all of a sudden, like I kept seeing them more and more and more. And so I started buying one, I was like, one a year. I can have one a year. And I would just slowly like build up this collection.
You do have a good amount of Godzilla shirts.
I've got a few now. So that's that. We live in this bizarre, you're going to Godzilla Con? I'm not going this year.
Crazy. Where is Godzilla Con, John?
It's in Chicago.
Tom, whatever.
It's in Chicago.
Yeah,
it's called G Fest. It's in Chicago.
G-Fest.
I've been there a couple of times. Incidentally, this is 6 comments, by the way, 6 different people. So we are now obligated for episode 3.
Whatever.
Episode 3 next week.
Chicago-ish. I like it.
Chicago-ish. Yeah, it's right by the airport. It's a really fun show. It was a show that really blew my mind. It's not like a big show, right? The whole thing is primarily the dealer's room. And then, so it was in a hotel, and they would have stuff going on like in all the hotel rooms, not the hotel rooms, but the ballroom area, including like old school guests. So the first time I was there were like what they call the Showa era guests, which is like the 60s and 70s guests.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, I'm never going to see these people
again.
Yeah,
you're geeking out.
Yeah. So I went and saw them. They were the lead actor and actress from the last Godzilla movie from the Showa era called Terror of Mechagodzilla. And they're called the Romeo and Juliet of Godzilla because they're like these star-crossed lovers and
You're so nerdy. I love it.
And so it's Tomoko Ai, that's her name. And then I can never remember the dude's name. And he's been in a bunch of them. But so when I went to this thing, day one, I go in and I'm looking around and I'm seeing the panels and stuff. And there's a huge like line, outside. And so I talked to the guy. I'm like, what's the line for? Is this to like see the actors or something? And they're like, no, this is the dealer's room. And I said, oh, it's not open yet. He says, no, it opens at, I don't know, whatever, 3:00. But the line, it's like the line for Star Wars movies.
Oh my gosh.
Like just throughout the whole
thing. Hall H line?
Basically, it's the Hall H line for the dealer's room. And I was like, doesn't it just open and like we all go in? And he's like, yeah, but like they can only let so many people in at a time. And so everybody gets in line for the dealer's room. So I was like, okay. That's so I came back at 3 when it opened. And it opened and they let a whole bunch of people in. And I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And I went to turn around to get in line. And it was still just like weaving out the door. And I was like, no way. I came back an hour later. The line was still there. I came back an hour later. The line was still there. So I didn't get into the dealer's room until at the end, like 6:00 at night or so. I was like, I finally got in. But when I walked in, Allison, it was Shangri-La. Like when you go into Comic-Con, right, you see Marvel, DC, Image Comics, Star Wars, whatever, right?
Yeah.
When you walk into this dealer's room, it's just Godzilla. Like, what am I looking at? I didn't know what to do. And I just started wandering.
Aww.
Like I was lost. It was so amazing. It was so amazing. I was completely lost.
You're like one of those cartoons and your eyes start to sparkle.
You don't need, oh my God. Yes. I was like, bing. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then that same weekend I got to meet both of them. They took pictures with us. I was like, oh, the dude hassled me. He was cracking Steven Seagal jokes at me, which was really funny. And we got pictures and they signed books and stuff. And I was like, this is the
sure we come back to that.
Yeah, no, that's really it. It was the greatest experience I had ever had at any convention up until I went a few years later and I actually met one of the suit actors for Godzilla.
Cool.
So he was a suit actor in the old movies. He was Gigan and some of the other monsters, but he was Godzilla in Godzilla 1984.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh my God, I'm like literally meeting Godzilla. But same thing, they would let you take pictures with him, right? So I walked up and I did my typical, like, I'm going to stand next to him and like get my picture taken. And they snapped a picture. They took my phone, they snapped a picture, and he looks at me and he starts harassing me. He's like, no, what are you doing? And he's like, Arr. So he starts giving me like a monster lesson, like right there, like, you gotta like, come on. Arr. And so I start doing it like, Arr. Little did I know, dude with my phone is just snapping pictures, just snap. So I have like this sequence of events of like the initial pose and then like him going,
that's awesome.
What are you doing, dummy? Until we're both going like, it was amazing.
I love those moments.
It was really good. And he's passed since, past a couple of years ago. So he's gone and I got him to sign my Godzilla picture, of course. And so super good. So
I feel like we have to tell the people.
What are we telling them?
The most recent. Hi, Mom. That's my mom. I think we should tell them the most recent Steven Seagal story where I made you totally crack up in Jersey Mike subs. Do you not remember that?
I vaguely. I don't remember exactly what triggered me, but I had to leave.
You said something about being in there and you felt like people were looking at you or something like that. I mean, I could totally go back into the text messages, but then my response was, they're probably wondering why Steven Seagal is ordering stuff.
That's right. And I literally.
And you said, well, now I totally laughed like really loud and everyone really is looking at me.
I did. I totally laughed. That had never happened to me before. You just made me crack. Yeah. And then they started laughing and then you made me laugh again. Yeah. And I was like, I have to go home. I can't be seen here. I can't be in here laughing when all these people are around. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, my mom is watching.
Of course.
I love her.
Of course.
She's the best.
Welcome everybody. Anybody, again, like we've said in our previous episode, you got questions about us, about Oz, about comics, about anything, we're happy to
otherwise
you'll just keep hearing more about Godzilla and sharks and bikinis.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the bikinis yet.
I was going to say we haven't gone there yet.
We'll get there. But yeah, no,
let's just let them know it's not mine. It's not my bikini.
No.
It's woof. Although I did tell you I'm wearing a midriff top right now, which is awkward. I don't know if any of my Oz fans have gotten any of the Killstar merch, but their sizing chart was way off. So I ordered according to what their sizing chart said that I should be, which is a large. I never wear a large, but I figured let's do it anyway. So I ordered a couple of things. I ended up sending one back because it was just so bad. But I kept this shirt and It's really cute, but I have very broad shoulders. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just take it in a little bit. But it's so short. Like, they did not disclose that it was a crop top.
It's a crop top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some of that. It's I mean, no surprise. Those ads have popped up on my Facebook feed before.
It's absolutely back.
Yeah. Yeah. It started with all the Witch of the West stuff that they were doing.
Yes.
I started getting that. And now that we're talking about it, I'm sure we're going to get it. I'll get it again.
Oh yeah.
My Facebook feed will be filled with this stuff.
That's all right. If you'd like me, if Killstar, if you'd like me to rep your merch, I'm totally fine with it.
We're happy to share our brand with you.
I honestly liked that it was a little bit, goth emo, because I'm an emo kid, so I was like, yay. But yeah, women over a certain age, we don't want to wear crop tops. That's just not a thing. So this will pretty much just be for home use only.
All right. So Michael's got a question that you can answer.
Yes and no. So actually, the finale book is The Emerald City of Oz, which is not the last book, but it was the last book that Baum was planning on doing. So he wrapped everything up neatly with a bow, and he was like, this is the end of Oz. Boom, that's it. And then his publisher was like, nope, that's not what we're going to do. So he kept writing after that. But as far as a finale after that, I don't believe there really has been, because it went from him to Ruth Conley Thompson to, John O'Neill, and then it just kind of kept going through the 40, and there have been so many people who have taken up the mantle since then that there's not really a finale that I am aware of.
Yeah,
this is why I said I don't count me as a historian, because there are plenty of things that I do not know. But to my knowledge, there is not another like wrap up like Emerald City.
Yeah, there's a final Baum book.
Yes, so, which is Glinda of Oz. That's the last of his, but it didn't give you a completion of the story. It was just another of the stories. Glinda of Oz and The Magic of Oz were both published after he had already passed, which is fun little trivia information.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had written those earlier. So Magic of Oz was published like right after he passed, but they had been doing this thing where they were publishing one a year. So they did the one, and then they went ahead and did the one the next year. And I actually really like those. Look at it. I can impart a little bit of wisdom. I like those. And I don't know if I said that here last week, but people often ask me what my favorite Oz books are. And I don't know the answer to that, because no, of Baum books, nerd.
Oh.
Yes, of the 14. And I mean, I really like the first three. And then there are a few in the middle that I also really love. But I like the last two because the first ones they're so magical and fantastical, and everything is just, larger than life. And it's this place that you want to escape to, which I feel like, everybody's had that feeling. Like, that's one of the reasons why Over the Rainbow means so much to so many people, I think, because we've all had that feeling of like longing and wanting to get away. But Magic of Oz and Glinda of Oz, I feel, really end up highlighting the magic of everyday life and sort of the beauty in the mundane things, which is just gorgeous to me, because you can kind of see Baum's arc rather than like the characters. And I don't know. I think that's really cool. So for anybody who has read them, let me know if you feel the same way at all. Did I get too deep?
You went deep.
He's looking really reflective now. Like,
yeah, I'm just thinking, because I've always talked about when I do my Oz books, I've always kind of tried to draw from Baum first. To kind of be like, okay, Baum did this.
Yeah.
How do I then translate it into what I do, but still maintain some sort of, foundational level of what he did. I never want to just be like a complete, I shouldn't say never, because sometimes, yes, like my Jack Pumpkinhead is not like his Jack Pumpkinhead.
I do like your Jack Pumpkinhead, though.
But we try and at least have some thread back to Baum's original thing. So, when you start to talk about like the fantastical elements of it, our Wicked West has a little bit of that. Like there is some castles and stuff in it, but
you still have flying monkeys, and
well, yes, we have flying monkeys, and we still have the Emerald City, which was buried and raised and so on. But sometimes I kind of think like there are some scenes where we've shown different, like where the wooden gargoyles live, and we've shown some like little flashes of different spots of Oz that we haven't really visited. So it's one of those things that's always been on my mind, is like, am I doing enough from an environment standpoint to kind of do what he created justice in the environment world. Because like we've done the Wheelers, and we have the Field Mice and whatever, but it's always kind of on my brain. Like we did do Quawks, right? We put him in the underground train system, which was cool. So I don't know, I guess the more I think about it, the more I realize we've probably done more than I really realize, because I'm kind of deep in the story, trying to figure out like where are these characters going next. And then once I get there, it's sort of like, okay, Glinda's castle, okay, the Witch of the West castle, okay, wherever we are. So Shawnee is I loved them when they were younger, but now that I'm older, the first year probably my faves. Occasionally go back and reread, although now after hearing Allison's take, need to go back and reread all the originals. Sure. And was the 1985 Return to Oz closer to the books in tone or story? It's not close to anything, my friend.
It's it definitely took a lot of liberties. I will say that it is loosely based upon books 2 and 3 mashed together.
Loose is the key word.
Yes. They have some similar adventures, but so much of it is different. And like Dorothy wasn't even in the second book. It was which you will meet in Tom's books, a young boy named Tip. But in Return to Oz, they just had Dorothy do everything because she's a character that you know already. So, but it was definitely not nearly as dark as Disney went. They went real dark.
Yeah, when you start a movie with shock treatments for Dorothy, like that's you're in a different box.
Yeah,
you're in a different box.
And I love that movie. I love it so much. But I also think, oh my gosh, they would never have done that. They would never have done that. They would have just been like, oh, pat her on the head and be like, what an imagination, Yeah.
So I remember when it came out, it threw me because I didn't understand why nothing looked like the other movie, like the first movie. I was like, why is everything different? So I could never, it took me a long time before I ever really watched it and understood, like, yes, it's a sequel, but no, it's not really. It's they're making their own, movie out of all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it always kind of bugged me that, things just didn't look right. So I struggled with that movie for a long time.
I think I had the same thoughts, but I was also little. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's still Oz. It's fine.
It's still Oz.
there's just so many things. Like, where do I even begin? Well, so far we have referred to Langwidere a bunch of times. So I don't know, for anybody who doesn't know, Mombi in that movie was actually based on this princess Langwidere, who does in fact in the books switch her heads out, but it's not as scary as the film. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem scary when I was reading it. It was just like, oh, well, yeah, this is what she does. Instead of changing her hairstyle all the time or her clothes, she just has, different heads that she puts on.
It just saves time. It just saves time.
But when you have this film where all the heads in the hallway are like screaming at her, and you go, oh yeah, this went hard in the other direction. But it's also, yes. Well, and the claymation, like that's creepy too. But I love it. It's a good time. And it's very much a product of the 80s.
For sure.
Let's be real. There were so many movies that were like that during that time period. Like Labyrinth, Legend, Dark Crystal, even like Neverending Story. They all had that kind of dark vibe. I mean, Neverending Story will make you cry, like right in the beginning. The 80s movies, just showing us a glimpse of reality.
Yeah, Watership Down.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, Watership Down breaks me now.
Emotional.
It's really weird because I remember watching Watership Down as a kid. It was a big deal because it was coming on TV, and my mom was all about it. I had no idea that she was all about Watership Down. I actually found her book when we were going through her stuff, and I'm like, look at all the books, and I'm like, oh my god, Watership Down is like right here. So she wanted to watch it on TV. I didn't know what it was. All I saw was cartoon rabbits. I'm like, okay, let's go. Give me cartoon rabbits.
Yeah.
And we watched it, and I loved it. I mean, I loved it. It was so good, but I was not keying in on all of it, and particularly, Hazel at the end, where the black rabbit comes to get him, and he's like, come with me, and what about them, and like the whole death thing. I never really got it, right?
Yeah.
And then many, many, many years later, I got it on Blu-ray because I was watching this. Oh my god, I gotta watch this again. I watched it again, and I wasn't even, the first time I put it in, I wasn't even watching it. I just put it on at Jesse James Comic Shop. It was just on TV. I was like, hey, you guys will like this movie. And we're watching the movie. And then as it gets to the end, I kind of look over, and it's the scene where he's talking to the black rabbit. And I'm in the store and I'm crying. I was like, what's going on right now?
You're like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, why is this so hard right now? Like, what's going on? So it really took a different turn for me watching it like as an adult versus watching it, as a kid. You're keying in on different things. So yeah, it's a really hard, I could not watch it now because with my mom now, there's no way, there's zero chance I could get through that now. It's gonna take a while before I can get back to that movie, but it's so great. It's really so great. And I actually bought the book myself because I was always wanted to read it, but now I've got her copy too. So, yeah. That's Dark Crystal and Watership Down. Like there was a lot of dark stuff in the 80s that was
there was
for kids,
There was.
We weren't really worried about it. We weren't really worried about it back then. Yeah. It was a different time.
I was just gonna say it was a different time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I need to read the book now too because that's kind of my thing. I'm a book girl.
Yeah, well, I'll bring it to you. I'll bring it to you. You can read it.
So, question for anyone else who is watching: who has a movie that they remember watching as a kid, or even a book that they have gone back to as a young adult or adult, and it's like completely different?
and it's completely different.
Well, I mean, it just
hits different.
Means
it hits
something
different.
Completely different.
It hits different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you're like, whoa, I did not remember it being like this.
Yeah, Watership Down was probably mine for sure. For sure. I was unprepared. There's definitely movies that I've gone back to and I'm like, oh, this isn't very good. I remember liking this a lot, and now it's not very good.
Yeah.
That happens more often than not. But that's the 80s too. I mean, there was so much, the age of straight to video was another wild time. Once Upon a Time in the West.
I don't know this.
I don't know what that is either. It sounds very familiar to me, but I don't know what that is. It sounds like a Western. Is that the Clint Eastwood trilogy?
I'm gonna look that up.
Like there was a Clint Eastwood trilogy with this and like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and something else. Is that what we're talking about, Michael?
Time in the
I don't know what that is.
1968 film? Yeah, 1968 film. Charles Bronson? Henry Fonda?
Bronson?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. I'll look at that.
That feels like a deep cut.
Yeah.
Charles Bronson.
I love a deep cut. I was like the weird kid, and I never remember if I've told you these stories, but
that was after his films. Okay, got it.
I was the weird kid who was always watching like black and white movies when I'm like 6, 7 years old. And so like I remember vividly inviting the neighbor kids over, like all the way at the end of the road. And I'd be like, hey, you want to come over? We can watch a movie. And I'm inviting them to watch like Arsenic and Old Lace. And they're going, what the F is this? Like, why are we watching a black and white? They make black and white movies. People were very confused, but that was my thing.
I watched them as a kid. This is the strangest. Like I have this moment burned in my brain is the night that my parents said they were getting divorced. Okay. It is burned into me. And I don't know why after that, I still like these movies, but we had just watched, I was too young to know what it is, but I know what it is now. We had just watched A Night to Remember.
Okay.
Which is the Titanic movie.
Yes.
I didn't know what the hell it was. I was too young, but
yeah.
I remember watching the ship sink. Oof. Deep cut. It's in my head. Like the ship is sinking. Like this is wild, right?
Yeah.
Now, after A Night to Remember, Godzilla versus King Kong was going to be on TV because they had the advertisements for it, the commercials.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, can I stay up and watch this? And they were like, well, we have to talk to you.
No.
Yeah. So instead of that, I got the sit down of we're going to be divorcing and so on and so on.
You didn't even they didn't let you watch it afterward where they were just like, hey, we're going to throw this like bomb on you.
Yeah.
Here's a movie.
No, it was
that's not okay.
Yeah. So Titanic and Godzilla should be the things that I hate most in my life.
Yeah.
But somehow I like them both. I'm intrigued by the Titanic story. I like the movie. I still love the Godzilla stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That was, I can see it. I can put myself there right now. I can put myself in the house, in that room. I know where the windows are. I know where the TV was. I know what the TV looked like. Like I can put myself right there. But there it is. Artsy movies or movies that were little scene movies. See, I would love that. We might have had that, but I was, what the hell's her name? I was Elvira, right? Elvira playing weird horror movies and stuff. Which
reminds me of a cosplay.
The Deer Hunter.
I don't know that one either.
Seen The Deer Hunter. Wait, is Deer Hunter the one where they hunt deer? No, is Deer Hunter is didn't think it was going to get that good of a reaction. Is that the war where they're in war and then they come back with the playing Russian roulette? Is that what that is? Deer Hunter?
Deer Hunter, the one where they hunt deer.
I got dad jokes tonight.
Oh, I'm crying.
Michael, yeah, I need your help on that one.
I don't know. I was the one watching like some Like It Hot or staying up late when I was supposed to be in bed.
Ooh, I was right. Yeah.
Watching West Side Story or like the silent Phantom of the Opera. Wait, I don't even know if it was silent or not. It might have just been black and white, but I know that I was watching it on no sound because
the original one,
because I wasn't supposed to be awake.
Yeah, the original way back in the day was a silent movie.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm not.
Yeah, the original like Lon Chaney one.
Tom, that messed me up.
I'm gonna make a shirt. I'm gonna get the logo. It says Deer Hunter, and then in quotes, the one where they hunt deer. Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, and Deer Hunter is a jacked up movie, by the way. Thanks a lot for that, Michael. That's a jacked up movie. Jacked up movie. So I have another with the divorce. Let's continue talking about divorce.
Oh, okay.
Everyone. So another, and this connects to the Wizard of Oz, is back in the day, children, you didn't used to be able to just put the Wizard of Oz on whenever you wanted to.
That is true.
So there used to be sort of like a yearly
annual screening.
It's on TV. So one year it happened to be on the weekend where I was supposed to go with my dad, and he had to come pick us up and take us down to, wherever he lived. Well, the Wizard of Oz was on TV, my friends, and I was not to be moved. But I was moved. And when I was put in the car, I was adamant about go faster. The Wizard of Oz is on TV.
Yeah. And
we missed a good portion of it. And by the time we got there, it was flying monkeys tearing apart the scarecrow. So we got the rest of it, the rest of the way out. But I was the most unhappy child watching that. And that actually happened to me twice. One time it was the Wizard of Oz. The second time was $6 Million Man with the freaking Bigfoot episode. You can't put me on you cannot take me away from the Bigfoot episode. What are we doing here, parents? These are bad parents. So yeah, that happened to me a few times where I was like, well, we're going like, but TV.
The moment that you just referred to, one of the things that I love about the 1939 film is they have some puns. Some serious puns, which Baum was very heavy into in the books.
Mm-hmm.
It was robbed. But specifically that moment when they're tearing him apart and he's like, they took my legs off and threw them over there. And then we get the that's you all over.
Yep.
Hilarious. Can't handle it. So many good things. But you also were talking about really messed up stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was a really messed up movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of messed up things, I've been watching Yellow Jackets lately.
I'm aware of it. I've not seen it.
Oh man, I want to know. Like, people need to comment on that because it's crazy. And I think I just got to season 2, where like you could kind of figure out what was happening a little bit, but it's like so deeply messed up that they just keep throwing crazy crap at me. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm anxious to see what happens in the upcoming season.
I just rewatched not long ago Breaking Bad, which sounds exactly like you just said. They just keep throwing more jacked up stuff on it. But I love that show so much.
I was talking to somebody about watching that yesterday because I have not seen it.
Ooh, it's so good.
And it was one of those conversations where I was like, okay, well, if you watch Buffy with me, because you need to see it, then I will watch Breaking Bad with you because I need to see that. Do you have that where you like to you just need to share the shows or movies that you love? It's like a love language thing.
Oh, everybody knows that I don't like anything, Allison. Don't you remember that?
Tom hates everything.
Tom hates everything.
Hashtag Tom hates everything.
It is. I mean, with the right people, I do like. I thought it was amazing going to Godzilla with you. I was like, this is a night, man. This is Allison and Godzilla, and it's on the side of a building. The size of this screen was like so big. It was
huge.
Nuts, just nuts. I was like, this is a
in
night,
IMAX.
Man. Yeah, IMAX. I was like, this is a night. So I loved, and the whole lead up, I was telling you things about the movie, trying to tell you like, this is what you can be prepared for.
Yes.
Watch out for this and this and this. So yeah, no, 100%. I get into that.
But I love that. I love people sharing something that they are passionate about because they immediately light up, and like the enthusiasm is just there. So yeah. I will always be ready to listen if somebody's like, I'm totally obsessed with this thing. Let me tell you about it. Like, yes, share your geekdom. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I think that's sort of why I like doing the movie reviews is to create the discussion. And sometimes there is discussion, sometimes there isn't. It just kind of depends on, I think people are more, I think the bummer is that I get more reaction when I don't like something. And then it's all like, oh, Tom, you don't like anything, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But like, then like when I do like something, like everybody's like, oh, all right, well, I guess that's fine. He likes it, you know, sort of like life cereal. Oh, Tom, you like something. All right, it's fine. And then they move on. So we don't get that engagement. Right before we came on, a friend of mine, Larry Little, he was doing a movie show with a friend of his where they were picking their favorite 90s action movies.
Okay.
And so I had a few minutes, so I just jumped in and I was like, look.
Good time for action film.
For sure. And I was like, so look, if Roadhouse is not number one, I don't even know what we're doing here. And he was like, oh, that's a great one, but I don't think that's the 90s. And they looked it up as 1989. And I was like, we just missed. But that makes me more happy because now it's an 80s movie, which really makes me pleased. But yeah, I definitely need to get back to the movie show, and that we used to do a number of years ago. We would just go crazy with stuff. We would talk about anything. We'd get a topic. We'd be like, okay, we're talking about all the Superman movies. We're going to talk about all the Batman movies. We're going to talk about Alien versus Predator movies, whatever. Just go deep dive and totally nerd out. And then one of the best things that we did was every 10th episode, we did what we called Nerd Wars. And Nerd Wars was basically, because there was 3 of us. So Nerd Wars was, I would create a list of movies of things that came out in the same year that were similar. And I'd be like, here's this movie. I don't know, like whatever it is. It's like Star Trek 2 and Conan the Barbarian, I think came out in the same year. But anyway, I'd be like, you can only see one of these, choose. And they would argue, which one, this one.
Oh man.
And
it was hard.
Sometimes it's very hard. Yeah. It's really, it was really fun to do. So yeah, we got to get back to all of that. And doing this grand experiment, has made me really think about it.
Is the right word,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It's really made me be like, oh yeah, you know what? This is fun. We can do this. We can get some different people to talk about movies and whatever. And I think we can get back to it. So yeah. Okay. Maybe one of these days we'll have to do a movie show where we just kind of focus in on the Oz movies that have been made.
There's so many.
There are so many. And we don't have to talk about like all of them. Like we don't have to talk about like the 1919 weirdo thing starring Bud Abbott, we can mention it. But we could do that. We could definitely dive into the multimedia world of Oz and talk about some of that stuff. Yeah. Oh, there's a ton.
The freaking cartoons and the television series and miniseries and yeah. I mean, even I haven't gone through all of those. It's crazy.
Well,
plus there's other stuff like, I don't know, the Wizard of Oz episode of Strawberry Shortcake or those types of things.
Right.
I'm
right.
like, well, it's on my list. Or Zardoz. Come on.
Zardoz?
Yeah.
Oz is in Zardoz?
The Sean Connery movie?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's supposed to be like, an Oz-ish story.
Oh, so because Zardoz is like a big stone head or something, right?
It's so confusing because I knew that it was supposed to be Oz related.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and I watched the preview, and I felt like I knew less about it after watching the preview than I did before. It confused me a lot. So, but it's on my list.
That's
watching,
a movie.
Watching with the bestie.
I would probably watch that, but I never see it on like Amazon. Like as I'm just clicking through, like it just doesn't exist.
But it's hairy Sean Connery in
a diaper.
like a red diaper with what's not to love?
Yeah. And that's the movie that he did. He chose to do that movie while simultaneously saying no to playing Gandalf because he didn't understand it. He thought it was too confusing. Yeah. 99% that it was Gandalf. But it was like a very high profile thing where he was like, I do not understand this thing, but he did Zardoz.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think in the end, Ian McKellen was the right choice for that. So that worked out just fine.
But that was a completely different time period.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying that like at some point in his life, he was like, Zardoz is something I want to do. But Lord of the Rings is confusing. That's
Well, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just after that he had his fill of sci-fi.
Well, yeah, that's possible. You get hung up in those crappy Highlander sequels and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I miss him. Best Bond.
No.
Okay.
Well, so let me. He might be the best Bond because he's really good at Bond.
Yeah.
Don't think he has the best Bond movies.
Okay.
For example, what if you took Sean Connery and put him into the Roger Moore movies? I think it would be really interesting. Now they're vastly different movies. Like the Roger Moore is very techy, gadgety, sort of the cliche Bond, right? Whereas back here we get a little bit of it, but it's really more kind of straightforward spy, stuff. Even though the villains are still a little weird, like Goldfinger and stuff. It's not like with Roger Moore movies where we have like underwater cities and stuff like that. So they're definitely different brands of Oz. But I like Sean Connery as Bond, but I like Roger Moore's movies better.
I would love to be a spy.
Random.
I think I would be really good at it. And in fact, I, for a short time, considered going into law enforcement. Because, I don't know if they did this when you were in high school, but like all of the assessment, like occupation assessment, that you take this giant test and they're like, oh, well, you would be good at these two jobs. Of course, it came up on that. And I was like, no, ew, why? I don't want to be a cop. That's dumb. But let's be honest. I'm a rule follower. And, hi, Chris. And I think like the weird religious stuff kind of helps me there. So it makes sense. But I also have a theater background. So I was like, I could do undercover work, which would be fun. But when I was little, I was always, again, with the weird kid thing, I was like 5-6 years old reading Sherlock Holmes novels. There was something about solving crime that I really loved at a young age. So, yeah.
So
can we have a female Bond?
We did in the last movie. She was terrible.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
She was terrible. She was terrible. Although, here's the thing about that last movie. There was technically, well, no, okay, so it was not a female Bond because James Bond is James Bond, but it was a female 007 because she took over the number. She took over the number.
Okay.
But in that same movie, they had Ana de Armas playing an agent who was new to being an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And she was wildly fun. Like, she took her 15 minutes of fame in that movie and just was like, you're never going to forget me in this movie. And I'm not forgetting her. She was fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to Ballerina because that might be really good.
Okay.
From her. But I've always said that you don't need a female Bond, but you can certainly have a female agent.
Yeah.
That is sort of the equivalent. Yes. So if he's 007, you just make her 009 or whatever you want it to be. And you can expand the James Bond universe.
It will be 8008. Right?
Sure.
She'll be a very curvy lady.
We don't just call her Double D?
Oh, I mean, I guess you... I was thinking like numbers.
We're now in Austin Powers realm.
Like the old calculator trick.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. 008. Yeah.
Wow.
008. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Mom. Yep. Sorry. I apologize.
Oh my God. No, so I think they could do it if they wanted to. I don't know. They're in the process of doing a new Bond. Amazon is in control of it now, so God knows what it's going to be. But whatever. I like the old stuff. I still like the old stuff. I like that Roger Moore. Do you know why Roger Moore quit?
No.
Roger Moore quit. Yeah, because it's irrational, and it's good that he came to this decision. The last movie he did was A View to a Kill, and Tanya Roberts was the Bond girl in that movie. And he said that after he did that movie, where she was like the age of what would have been his granddaughter, and she was like, the lead girl. Yeah. He was like, this is weird. Yeah, this is weird. And I'm going to get out of here.
Good for him.
And so that was basically it. And then they moved on to Timothy Dalton. So, I
do love Timothy Dalton though, not as Bond, but just as Timothy Dalton.
He is a good actor. I don't think his Bond movies were particularly good, but he is a good actor.
Can we talk about Flash Gordon?
So I say good actor and you go to Flash Gordon. Like what just happened?
Come on. It's a great bad movie.
Well, yes, but I just called him a great actor.
It's so good.
And you took him to Flash Gordon.
Or oh my gosh, why am I going to blank on it?
Well, I liked him in Doctor Who.
He not Shaun of the Dead. Oh my gosh. Somebody tell me what I'm trying to say.
I don't know.
It's one of the Simon Pegg movies in that little trilogy that they did. Hot Fuzz.
Oh, Hot Fuzz. I barely remember Hot Fuzz. The only thing I remember about Hot Fuzz is them jumping over the fence. That's it. Trying to do the leap over the fence. That's all I got. That's a rewatch that I would do. I'd be game for it. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater, so I'd be game for it.
The Shaun of the Dead.
I do have Shaun of the
Dead
on that one. I have on Blu-ray.
I don't know. I like those movies. They're funny. I think it's the British sense of humor that I enjoy.
Yeah, and that's part of why the Bond movies work too. At least again in that Roger Moore sense, and then it kind of got a little less and less and less. Timothy Dalton kind of brought some of that back a little bit. But like one of the things I've been watching is I started to try and watch the Mission Impossible movies because I know the new one's coming out. I haven't watched one since number 3. I've never seen them like again. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, you got to watch these movies." I'm like, "All right, they're all on Amazon.
They don't do it for me.
Put me on 4." And it was the same thing. I was like, you know what? This is just an American James Bond movie.
Yes.
But it's not as fun as a James Bond movie. So
yeah.
I lost my connection to it really quickly.
I feel like it's just the same thing a bunch of times.
Yes.
And yes, Tom.
It's
Tom knows
cool.
What's
It's Tom and I we talk about movies. It's
this
good
Tom?
stunts. Yeah, this Tom.
You know Tom? How do you know?
Oh
Tom?
No, sorry. This is nope. Sorry,
I was like, that's my Tom. Thank you very much.
Nope. I have a Thomas Bishop that I talked to. I thought it was Bishop. I only saw the Thomas, so I assumed it was him. Thomas Bishop and I, we talk movies all the time.
At the last SDCC that I went to, I actually got my photo with Flash Gordon. I was really excited. I was so excited. I was not planning on spending any money. And then I saw him and I went, I have to do this. And I have to send said photo to all of my siblings immediately.
Do you know that Big Dog Inc. is 1 degree away from Flash Gordon?
No, how?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Because Flash Gordon was in the Ted movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in Ted 2, they go to New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And Flash Gordon is there. I can't think of his name. What is it? Something. I can't think of his name.
The second one because I did not.
But anyway, so it's Flash Gordon.
Okay.
They're in New York Comic Con and they start a fight in New York Comic Con.
Yes.
And in the background of one scene, you can see the Big Dog Inc. banner.
No.
Yeah.
All right. I will watch Ted 2 just for you.
It is that fast.
That's fine. I don't
You
care.
have to be sort of like pause. I see it. There it is. It's really fast. But what was crazy was the producers of the movie called us and said, "Hey, we're going to recreate New York Comic Con. We saw your banners. They were really cool. Can we do that in the film?" And I was like, "Of course you can do that in the film." But we only made that one super, super fast.
That's still freaking
moment.
Cool.
But we are in there.
That was how I watched Captain America 2 to see if I could find myself.
Why are you in Captain America 2?
I was an extra in it. And I never did find myself.
I was an extra in the first Spider-Man movie.
Ooh.
You'll never find me. Do you know why?
Why? Because
I was in the wrestling crowd.
Oh.
But that was an interesting shoot, watching them do that. That was very cool. They actually took us on a movie set and they were like, "Follow us, don't look at anything." And then we found out they were filming Planet of the Apes at the time, like in the next one over. And I was like, "How do we get in there?" And they were like, "You do not. You follow us and you go in this
cool.
one." So, yeah, we were Sam Jones. That's it. Thank you.
But I would want to watch like the old ones.
And then I don't know if you know this. You must know this.
I'm sure I don't.
They filmed a movie in my comic shop.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember talking
about
that.
Comic Book Villains.
Yeah.
The bad guys comic book shop is my comic book shop. And I have a walkthrough right at the very beginning, which is basically just a waist shot. So when you see the guy in the orange shirt, that's me. We had other scenes too, but they were cut out. So all I made was that one little walkthrough. You saw the orange shirt, and then that was me. So that was it. Those are my movies.
Big claim to fame is Dawson's Creek. That's all I got. Yeah.
What do you got? What is it?
There's a 5-minute scene that's Katie Holmes, Oliver Hudson, and me, and I'm just responding to the conversation that they're having.
You got that's dialogue?
Weird. No. Just responding facially. And we all know that I can't control what my face looks like when I'm responding to people. So, yeah. I mean, it was fun. We had a good time. I got paid for it. So, but I remember telling people that I was going to do it. And then a couple of people were like, whatever. It's gonna be done. You won't even get in it, and you know, at that point, you had no idea until it aired.
Yeah.
And and then we watched, and we were like, "Dang, I'm still on there! Like, that's cool." So then people are messaging me afterward, going, "Okay, well, I'm sorry I was a jerk about that. You you did make it on." Aha. But
well, that was the one thing. Like, we almost had Legend of Oz sold as a TV show.
I know,
and
that
one
needs
of the
to happen.
one of the things that I was going to put into the contract as a requirement is when at the beginning, when Dorothy's in the bar with all the monkeys and she punches the dude out. I was like, I have to be the guy that gets punched out. Like, I was going to put that in the contract. Like, I need to get punched out by Dorothy.
Can I please be that and then punch you?
Do you see this? Do you see how this works? This friendship? Yes. Allison, let's do a cool web show together. We'll have great time. Can I punch you out?
I mean, it's not for real.
Well, not yet.
Stage
not until we're
punches.
on set. Oh no.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, can we do?
I love
take?
that you just pulled like a freaking Marsha Brady thing.
We'll do another take.
Oh no.
Take 7.
I'm ready.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Put me in, coach. I mean, if I don't threaten to punch you, then I don't love you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mean,
you don't care.
That's true.
You don't care.
It's just it's how I show people that I love them. Well, is it time? I
think it's time. We have done it. We have done nearly 90 minutes.
We did 90 minutes and we didn't actually talk about anything.
No, not really. Well, we did. We got deep into some books and we talked about some movies and, you know, like I said, it's a rabbit hole show. We even had rabbits.
You keep looking at my chair. I'm like, it's not.
You're fine. You're fine. And we easily have more than 6 individual people comments this time around. So I guess we're stuck.
We'll come back again.
Doing this again. Episode 3.
Look at that. Toto looks so sleepy.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm tired, guys. It's hot out.
This is our life now. This is what we do.
Yeah, I guess. I told Tom we're going to have to take some more pictures because he's going to use all the pictures that we have together in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I have more than you realize.
Okay.
Yeah, I have more than you realize.
I'm nervous.
But that's still probably not going to get us to episode 10 necessarily. Yeah. So in about 3-ish weeks, I'll be down there with you.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have to get some pictures, doing stuff. We might figure out a way to do a little bonus footage for you guys while we're at the Ostravaganza show. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit about what the show is, how it works.
You'll be here for Monday for the first time ever.
I will.
So maybe we need to do an earlier episode. And it'll be like a live.
That's possible. All that's possible. Yeah. All that's possible. Yeah.
Tell us your thoughts, people. Yeah. What do we think?
This is the thought. Judy's like, yep, do it again. Spin it up. Give me another one.
Uh-oh. Almost lost your ears.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, we'll do episode 3 next week. And and then, but like I said, we'll talk about definitely want to talk about the Ostravaganza because we want people to know what it is, how it works, and why they should come and see it.
It's
and
free.
Be a part of it. It is free. It is
just
free.
Come.
Yeah, just show up.
Yeah.
If you want to see the ridiculousness of the parade where they put us in, that is on Saturday. But like I said, we'll talk about Ostravaganza a little more deeply next week, and we'll let you know what's going on there. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, that's part of what we do here.
Thank you, Michael.
Part of what we do. So bring more questions. You had a good one.
Yes, please. They were really great.
One. So bring your Oz questions, bring your comic questions, bring your movie questions, whatever you want to do, bring them. Because we don't know what we're doing, but we will see you all next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye.
Yay!